Hey, everybody, it's Mike from the Reelblack podcast. And today we have a very, very special guest and some very, very important news. I want you to stick with us for this podcast. This man, you may recognize him from many, many things, from Denise's boyfriend in the Cosby Show. And I forget the name of the show. Wait. What was the fighting show called?
Dark Justice.
All right, hang on. Yeah, and you remember from Dark Justice, but we're here to talk about him being part of one of the most recent films to be accepted into the United States National Film Registry. You know him as Seaweed from Hairspray, the original Hairspray, Clayton Prince.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
2023 is shaping up to be a good one for you.
And I have to thank you because I didn't even know that Hairspray was in the National Registry until you told me.
Oh, it popped up on my phone, and I said, "Let me. Who can I call?" So
I'm so glad you did.
I knew within an hour of them announcing it. So,
And it's so funny because after you told me, I told the rest of the cast. And
wow,
the only people that knew at that point were Ricky Lake and John Waters.
wow, that's
Everyone else
amazing.
didn't know.
Well, how does it feel? I guess we should get that emotion out of the way.
Amazing. I think every actor, every artist wants to do something that's going to be remembered throughout time. Everybody has that dream.
Right.
Either a piece of art that you write or a song that you write. Um, Everyone wants to be remembered for something. And so far, the two things that have done that for me is The Cosby Show, playing Denise Huxtable's boyfriend, and Hairspray, Seaweed.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Originated
Yeah.
the part. You should get a plaque for that. I mean, as many people have copied your style on Broadway, in a sense,
Thank you, sir.
or
Thank
repeated
you.
that
Thank you.
character, you should get a royalty on him.
You would think, but nope, no royalties. just
Okay,
just the acclaim, which is fine.
that's cool. So, I mean, well, people are tuning in to find out about Hairspray, I'm sure. What are your memories of making the project?
Wow. So when we did Hairspray, um, it was a low budget film, and I didn't think it was going to be what it was. It's so funny. Sometimes you do a project and you're thinking this is going to be the big one, and then sometimes you do certain things. You're like, this is just a check. And I thought Hairspray was just going to be a check. And the only reason why I say that is because John, he had a very large, loyal following, um, but I didn't think it was going to be a classic film. I mean, I never dawned on me.
Right.
Um, it was when I was in college. I went to Temple, and at the Student Activity Center, they used to show a lot of John Waters films, and I'd never seen any John Waters films until that
Like
moment.
Pink Flamingos,
Yes,
Polyester.
yeah, and so I heard buzz about Pink Flamingos, but I didn't know anything about what it was about. I
Okay.
just saw that it had an X rating. I was like, yo, they show porn in college. This is cool. So I went, and it was not what I was expecting. It was
Oh,
it blew my mind. And I remember sitting in the theater thinking, I hope to God I never meet these people in my life because the, the movie was about a competition of who was the most disgusting person in the world, and
right.
Divine won, hands down in the film. Divine won, and I thought, oh my God, I just never want to meet these people. And then my manager called me up and said, hey, John Waters wants to meet you, and I'm like, for what? For what? I'm a Cosby kid. I have a clean image. So funny how things turn around now, right? So anyway, um, so I met John, and John was like the smartest guy I ever met in my entire life.
Mm.
And then I was just amazed by the way he saw the world. And we talked at my audition. There were people waiting in the hallway, waiting to meet John. And John was like, I don't care about them. You're seaweed. Let them wait. I want to get to know you. And we talked for about 30 minutes, 40 minutes while people were waiting out in the hallway.
Well, what do you
And it
think it
was
was about your audition or your first meeting that would lead him to just cast you on the spot?
I have no idea. He said that he saw something in all of us that just hit him in the gut. So with Ricky, she was this really sweet, lovable girl. Um, Michael St. Gerard, he looked like Elvis Presley. Um, Me, I don't know. Um, and um, and then there's Colleen.
Colleen
It's
Fitzpatrick,
who,
who went to
yeah,
NYU, I think. I think she went to
and
NYU with me. So
really, oh, that's cool.
I think so.
So here's a funny little story. So Colleen was actually, I don't know if she likes me telling the story, but she was actually the second choice for the
Okay.
role. The girl who was first, I don't know her name, but she was a regular on One Life to Live.
Okay.
And the soap wouldn't let her out of her contract or give her time to do the soap opera. I mean, to do the film.
Good movie. Wow.
And it's funny because I was also on an ABC soap opera at the same time. I was on Ryan's Hope, but I was recurring.
Okay.
And
So you're
so,
it lucked out. You were immortalized. Like those episodes of soap operas disappear over time, but this is
exactly.
now being preserved.
Yeah, my storyline was with Tashina Arnold.
Okay.
And so because she was a regular and I was recurring. And so I was allowed to quit if I wanted to do the film. And so I quit, and then Alan Payne replaced me on Ryan's Hope.
Oh wow, it's a small
And
world.
that, yeah, and then that was Alan Payne's first job that he ever had on TV.
Oh, before Cosby.
Yeah, before Cosby, that was Alan didn't join the cast until the later years of Cosby, and I did
Right.
the earlier years.
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what are your memories of working on Cosby now that we were in that venue?
Uh, wow. So I had been invited to the studio many times before I actually got hired. Um, and but I was always in awe of Bill Cosby. Who wasn't in awe of Bill Cosby? Yeah. And um, he was an amazing guy. I I was so nervous being on that show. I It felt like I was around black royalty and everyone. I mean, Felicia Rashad, she just has this regal air about her. It's not snobbish, it's just regal. It's just like, wow, oh my God, I hope I don't offend you, you know. Um, and everybody in the cast, they were just so special. I just wanted to fit in. And the lines that they wrote for me originally were not funny at all.
Okay.
Not even a little bit. It was so the my character originally was a nervous boyfriend who could talk for miles and miles and miles with everybody else, but I would get really quiet around Bill Cosby.
Okay.
Bill thought that was because all boyfriends are nervous around the fathers of their daughters. But it's like, no, Bill, that's just because it's you. That was his experience. So he thought that was a universal thing. And it's like, that's not funny because it's only because y- your
Right.
daughter's boyfriends are nervous around you. So, and then that was really the whole character. So they didn't know what to do. And reggae was a very small part of the scene. And I got nervous and then I started cracking jokes. I used to always crack jokes when I was nervous.
Okay.
And I started making up this whole reggae thing. And they were like, wow, okay, go for it. And they let me do whatever I wanted. And
Oh
I
wow.
made that whole thing up. If you ever look at a rerun from that, if you look at Bill's face and Lisa's face, they thought the director was going to yell cut because they had no idea what I was going to do or say next.
Oh wow. Okay. I will have to. Well, we can since we're not getting paid for these anymore. I'll stick it in right now.
There you go, go for it.
I say it, man. I said it, man.
And then that it ended up breaking a Nielsen ratings record.
Mm,
And it was said that the reggae scene was said to be the funniest part of that episode. So people remembered me from that. So everywhere I went, people would just say, "It man, it man, it man," and that was it. That I was sleeping on somebody's sofa when I did that show when I
mm,
first appeared on there, and then after that, I was not sleeping on the sofa anymore. That's
okay.
all I can tell you.
Okay.
Just totally changed my life.
Amazing. Amazing. Well, and how so? I guess because I don't know the answer to that question.
Um, well, it gave me notoriety. Literally, actually, from the after that reggae episode aired, which is the first time I was on, after that aired, um, my phone rang and people started calling me, and I didn't even know how they had my number, but they were calling me directly. And I remember one woman called. She said, "Hello, is this Clayton Prince?" I was like, yes. Who's this?" She said, "Before I say anything, are you the Clayton Prince who's on the Cosby Show last night?"
Wow.
"Yeah." "I'm sorry. Who's this?" "Before I say anything else, are you the Clayton Prince who was on the Cosby Show last night who did the reggae?" I said, "Yes." "Who is this?" And they say, "Our director wants to meet you right now for a new film. Come right now." I just start literally like that.
Wow.
Uh, I remember I was up for some commercials and I never really booked a lot before. I was always a second choice, third choice, but I was never that guy. And um, all of a sudden, I started booking literally 50% of every audition I went on because of Cosby.
Wow. Wait,
Because, yeah,
so there's the BC and the AC. All right. So
yeah, exactly.
I know the BC a little bit because you went to school in we're roughly the same age, and
Hmm.
we didn't go to the same high school. You went to Creative and Performing Arts, right?
Yes.
So,
I went
but
when I was
you
at
know, there was
Barton
a
Springs.
buzz. There was a buzz when the Cosby Show happened. It's, oh wow, this guy goes to Kappa, you know, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So you were still in school when that happened, or you said you were sleeping on the
No,
couch?
no, I no, I had graduated. I graduated from Kappa. I went to Temple University on a math scholarship.
Okay,
Uh, and I dropped the scholarship because I got a small part in the movie The Last Dragon.
okay,
They had a big nationwide talent search for the lead. I came second in the country, which I mean, being second is the same as being fifth or 10th or 100th. You're not the one. Um, but the director, Michael Schultz, he really liked me a lot and he said, "I'm going to give you a part so you can get your SAG card. Um, but and we're going to do a sequel if this does well. And you know we'll save you for that." And they never did a sequel, but I moved to New York and I dropped my scholarship. And yeah, it was rough, man. And at one point I was thinking, why did I ever drop my scholarship? But I didn't want to go back home to Philly with my tail between my legs.
okay.
Um, and then 2 years later, the Cosby Show hit. But yeah, it was rough. It was
Two
for
years in New
sure.
York. That's like 5 years
Yes.
anywhere. Well, things move fast, right? So you're getting a lot of
Not fast
experience.
enough for me at that time. Oh man.
Well,
Like I
I
said,
only
I was
lasted
sleeping on
8 months,
sofas.
so I went back. I came back to Philly after 8 months in New York. It's a beast.
I slept on sofas for 2 years.
Mm,
At first, I was in East New York, Brooklyn, and then I was in Flatbush on a sofa, and then I could finally get my own apartment in Midtown.
with the Cosby checks.
Yeah, yeah. Well, okay, no, okay. Here's a funny thing. A lot of people think that because I did Cosby, I was rich. No, no, no. It wasn't the money from Cosby. Cosby did not pay a lot. No,
Okay,
no, 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 he
okay,
didn't. But the exposure that I got from doing the Cosby Show, I was then able to negotiate higher salaries for all the other things I did after that.
okay.
I remember right after that, I was doing a commercial, and the people who I don't even remember what the commercial was because I did so many commercials after Cosby. I did so many. Um, uh, the people said they had narrowed it down to 5 people, and they had all of our pictures on the table, and they were just tired, and they said, "Hey, you know what? Let's just watch TV and get our minds off it. Let's watch the Cosby Show." And then I was on the Cosby Show. They're like, book him! Oh my God, that's one of the five!" And that was almost a synonymous story for every project. I just
So
it
so you
was
were a
it
working
was
actor, which
fascinating.
is a miracle, and
Yes,
still to this day,
yeah,
most actors are not working that have their SAG cards. So
that's right. And that was it was
so so the, all right. So then Dark Justice and Black Ninja, and then we'll break the news after that.
okay. Well, after the next big job that I did after Hairspray was Another World. I was on the soap
Okay.
opera. I was a contract regular on Another World for years.
Okay. I didn't know that because I do not watch soap operas, family.
Yeah.
But what was your
Well,
part for those who do watch soap operas? What was your role? And then
so I played,
that's a
yeah, I
goal
played
for a lot
Reuben
of
Lawrence.
actors. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I played Reuben Lawrence on Another World for a couple of years. And at first I was in heaven. So I thought it's a soap opera, it's never going to get canceled. And even though I'm not going to make as much money as the primetime guys, I'll be consistent and I'll work all year round. And I was thrilled at first.
Okay. And
At
then what?
first.
At first. And then what
At
happens?
first. Um, well, first of all, I was on an NBC soap opera, which and the NBC soaps were not as popular as the ABC soaps or the CBS soaps. Weren't as popular as Young and the Restless or All My Children or any of those guys. Uh, so there was that. So I felt like my career was a little stagnant. And um, when I was working, I was making good money, but it wasn't what I was dreaming it would be. And also, at one point, I just felt like I was the black guy on the show.
Mhm.
I felt, and maybe I was wrong to feel this way, but I just felt like I was the token black guy, and I never had a great storyline in the year. I had storylines that lasted a week or 2 weeks, and Casey Lemons, she played my girlfriend, who's now she's a phenomenal director now.
Yeah.
She just directed the Whitney
Whitney.
Houston film. Yeah, but she played my girlfriend
Wow.
on Another World, and Dondre Whitfield played my little brother. B.J. Jefferson played my sister. Jim Pickens played my sister's boyfriend. Uh, we just all felt like we were just there to keep the NAACP happy, and we weren't really getting to shine as much as the other cast members were. So as soon as a better job offer came along, because I didn't want to quit with nowhere to go, CBS offered me my own series called Dark Justice. So
Mm.
I begged the producer uh, if I could leave, and he said, "We'll let you leave, only on the condition that um, if you ever want to come back to daytime, you have to give us first crack." And he said,
Okay.
"That's fine, 'cause I ain't coming back."
Okay. Dark Justice, I mean, that's like a cult classic show now.
Yes.
Um, it was in syndication for what, 2 seasons?
So we
Or
did
was it a
three
network?
seasons.
Oh,
It
CBS,
was
you
a
said.
network. It was a
CBS,
CBS
but it
network
was shot in
show.
shot in Canada?
Spain,
Spain. Oh, okay. All right.
yes, in Barcelona, Spain. I was like, how cool is that? Yeah. Um, well, it was good and it was bad. Um, because you're in this foreign place and you're like, wow, this is fun, whatever. And then, but it was Spain. I couldn't understand the language. I had to learn the language,
Mhm.
uh, and that was rough. Uh, but yeah, I picked it up, but still, it was rough. Um,
And it
but
was an action piece that sort of, what
yeah,
was Dark Justice about exactly? The weekly
it was a
premise.
great concept. I loved Dark Justice because it really was. Um, it personified a lot of my own personal beliefs. It visualized a lot of my beliefs. Uh, it was about a judge who, whenever he had to let a criminal go free on a technicality, even though he knew they were guilty, but he had to let him go, he had a group of vigilantes on the side that
Oh,
would go after the bad guys and get all the dirt that the judge would need so he could prosecute them at the end of the episode.
okay. So, and it
So
was
I
what, a
played,
triumvirate?
yeah, so I played a special effects expert and a martial art expert. So I was his martial arts sidekick.
Awesome. And that sort of kind of leads you to make your own martial arts film.
Yes, which was the Black Ninja.
In blackest days, in darkest night, like Superman, I'm gonna win the fight. When you're looking through the sky, I'll be the light, making problems blow up like dynamite. But let me
Yes,
right or I'm a
yeah, that was
Was
fun.
it, did you intend it to be campy, or it's just gained that status?
It was definitely a little campy when we were doing it, but when we were shooting it, I didn't think it was going to be as campy as it was. Um, but from limitations, and we were sitting in the editing room, we're like, oh boy, this isn't working. How are we gonna fix this? And so we made it this campy, funnier than what we thought it was going to be originally, film. And now it's become this cult classic. People love Black Ninja.
Right. The theme song, the black theme from Black Ninja needs to be on Spotify.
I actually wrote that.
Oh, wow. Breaking news,
Yes.
folks. I'm going to solo you, and then you can do however you want.
Um, for some people who really know me well, when I was on the soap opera, a lot of people don't know this, but I used to be a guardian angel in New York City. So some of you guys don't know what a guardian angel is. A guardian angel was a group of guys who we would go around the city with these red berets on our head, and we would actually make citizens arrest, and we would stop crime if we saw it happening. If someone was getting mugged or something like that. So I was in the group for years, and that was a passion of mine to not just want to be a celebrity, but to try to make a difference. And I since then, I've moved back to Philly, and I have seen since I came back to Philly so much crime, so much corruption here. Um, I've made a decision that I want to run for city council at large. So this May, I will be on the ballot as city council at large here in Philadelphia. I hope you vote for me. I have a lot of great ideas to stop crime, and I'll let Mike drill me on what some of my ideas are. Um, but I also want to bring some Hollywood production stuff here to Philly. I was part of
Sure.
a team of people who did the movie Cover here in Philly with Vivica Fox and directed by Bill Duke. And I want to bring more films to Philly. We shot Black Ninja here. I want to do more.
What are the obstacles that you see? I mean, like, this would be your first time running. Who are you running
Yeah.
against? And how can we help you get the word out about your campaign?
Well, in February, starting February 15th, I have 3 weeks to get 2,000 signatures uh, to put my name on the ballot. So I'm going to need help getting signatures for that. So whatever you can do to help me, oh, I'm so in need of that.
Okay.
Other than that, um, I just have to tell people what my agenda is. So first of all, yes, on crime. You may not know this about me, but since I came back to Philly, um, I have actually been personally involved in taking 2 illegal guns off the street, and that's a whole big story about how that happened. And it was kind of scary. That's what I'm gonna say. But I actually had to go to court and had a citizen's arrest on 2 different individuals. Um, I um, I want to really. I feel like the city isn't doing enough for mental health. Um, I think more people need counseling, um, and a lot of people in the Black community are kind of fearful of counseling for mental health. I think we need to get over that stigma, and because some people just really need people to talk to. Um, I know there are a lot of police officers who uh, who are friends of mine who tell me about, and it's so strange that they all have told me a similar thing, that it's very common. Police officers have a recurring dream, nightmare, that they don't react quick enough in a life or death situation. And they wake up screaming, and it's a fear of theirs that they have. A lot of police officers, the good police officers, not all of them, but the good police officers deserve our support. Um, they do an amazing job, the good ones. Um, they, if you can imagine every day seeing the worst of society, seeing the evidence, like the stuff that we see on the news, that's watered down. If you can imagine seeing the hardcore evidence of child molestation every single day, of bullet holes and body matter sprayed all over a room, all over a wall. If you can imagine doing that every single day, 9 to 5, you're going to need some therapy, whether you realize it or not. No one can handle that and not have someone to talk to. So I want to make it mandatory that police officers have some kind of counseling. Uh,
Okay.
I think that some of the gun violence that's happening with the regular citizens, I think some of these people need counseling, and they're not getting it. Um, I think we can all attest who's ever gone to a public school. We all knew that kid who needed counseling. We all knew that kid who it wasn't a surprise that he grew up shooting somebody because when he was a kid, he needed to speak to somebody or he needed medication and he never got it. We need to get that to those kids.
Mm,
And I've got some very unique ways of raising the money.
okay.
I can't announce that until, well, put it this way. I have a comedy special that's going to come out on Tubi in February. It's called
Okay.
When Life Gives You Lemons,
Okay.
and it's me doing stand up. A lot of people don't know I used to do stand up, but so I'm doing a stand up uh, comedy routine, and in that special, I'm going to drop a lot of bombs, and I'm going to share what my ideas are to raise some money for mental health facilities in the city.
Love it. Love it. So, with 3 minutes left, roughly, I mean, we can go over if necessary, but
Yes.
I failed to ask you if you had any divine stories because this is someone who's passed on and is
Yeah.
legendary.
Divine. Like I said, when I saw Pink Flamingos, I was like, oh my God, what kind of human being is this? I'm kind of leery of this guy. And Divine, after I met him, Divine was the nicest human being I've ever met in my entire life. And I felt ashamed for any weird thoughts I ever had of him or about him because of the characters that he played in movies. And that's a silly thing that a lot of people do. We always think that the characters that people play, they're really that way in real life. And some people are, but Divine was just a guy who always wanted to be famous and he was willing to do anything to do that. And he was a wonderful, wonderful human being. And it was sad when I found out that he died.
Yeah, I remember the day myself. It was a shock. Divine was in all the John Waters movies up until I
Yeah,
guess Hairspray, and that
yeah,
might have been the last one. Maybe there's one after that. I'm not sure, but he was, but he was very, very funny too. He had a very good sense of humor about himself,
he was a
um,
great guy. He
and
really was a great guy.
multiple characters and do all kinds of cool things like that.
Great actor, wonderful human being.
Yes. Okay. Well, I mean that. Well, once again, congratulations for
Thank you.
like
Thank
you've been immortalized. You were in a
you.
film that
And Ruth
immortalized
Brown,
your image.
yeah, Ruth Brown, who played my mom. I
Oh
didn't know
yeah,
who she was, and I'm embarrassed to say that I didn't
Rakim's
know who Ruth Brown was.
Rakim's aunt.
Yeah, let me tell you something. Ruth Brown was the first artist on Atlantic Records to give them a #1 hit. Atlantic Records used to be called the house that Ruth built because of Ruth Brown, because she was so popular. Atlantic Records wouldn't have existed if it wasn't for Ruth Brown.
Wow. Yeah, well, that definitely comes across. And then another movie that was in the registry this year, it was a House Party,
Yes.
which also captures a lot of
Tisha
early.
Campbell, she's an old friend. So, I was just so proud, like, some of my New York people, you know.
Yeah,
Robert Downey Jr. was an old friend too.
but
It was,
uh,
from
wait,
Iron
for
Man.
what movie? I'm sorry, I'm lost. I'm thinking about Senior, but what
Robert Downey Jr. He
is
started
Iron
as
Man?
Iron Man.
I got
Yeah.
picked. Iron Man got picked. That's right.
Yeah. And Robert and I, we did a play together when we were 17 in Boston. And so, we've been friends for a long time. In fact, Robert got me a part on Saturday Night Live when he was a regular on the show. And that's how I met Damon Wayans. Because Damon was a featured character and Robert was a regular. And they needed someone to play his friend. And I looked closer to his age. So and Rob was like, Clayton, we need Clayton Prince. So
Oh
it's
wait,
so great to see
so
all
you're
old
still doing
friends.
stand up? Are you still acting? I should ask that question. Like, where can people see you?
Um, People can, well, I have a stand-up comedy special coming out on Tubi TV next month in February. It's called When Life Gives You Lemons.
Okay, that's the main thing.
So yes, that's what I'm pushing right now. But then after that, I'm planning to be the city council member of Philadelphia.